First time for everything. Okay. Ew, oh my God, ew. I think I forgot to close the flap. Oh. You know what? That's why this is Dave's job.
Yep, that's why it's my job. But should you beware of the cassette toilet? We have been living with a cassette toilet now for 6 months in our new Winnebago EKKO, and today we're going to give you our brutally honest review, including the #1 most asked question we receive, like this.
Oh, excuse me?
Yeah?
What is that?
What's what?
That thing in your hand right there.
Oh, well, my wife likes to call it my toilet suitcase. Okay, it may not be the most frequently asked question, but folks do ask it a lot because I gotta say that cassette toilet is an eye catcher.
There has been so many mixed emotions and feelings when it comes to having a cassette toilet, including Dave and myself when we decided to purchase our Winnebago EKKO. But we've quickly learned how much we've appreciated having the cassette toilet. Now we're also going to be talking about our likes and dislikes, but not just that. Why the pros for us definitely outweigh the cons when it comes to having a cassette toilet for full-time RV living. And woo,
the desert sun is hot. You need some seltzer, honey.
first and foremost, I switched up to a little high noon.
High noon.
A little hard seltzer. So
I got a sticker for you. Oh!
You did too.
Double trouble.
It's nice, gotta have one of those. But let's address the horse in the stables.
The cat in the room.
Cat in the hat?
Cat in the hat.
Elephant in the room?
Yes, the elephant
There you go.
in the room. And that is, how easy or how hard is it to deal or live with a cassette toilet?
Well, let me show you. Come on over here a second. I want to show you how easy it is to basically take the cassette in and out of the EKKO. So we kind of pop this open and the cassette's right in here. And you'll see there's a little latch you kind of lift up here at the bottom, a blue latch, and it slides right out. Now one thing I do like to do is make sure that this is actually closed. So I kind of push that in as well because it can leak there. But then we kind of bring this out right on down. You can either carry it or if you want to roll it, bring this right up, pop it in, and boom, there you go. Wow, this cassette toilet is so easy. Just take this top right off, just like that. Voila. All right, now one thing important, make sure this is a pressure release valve right there. You gotta hit that, otherwise maybe a little kickback. All right, so hit that button in there, and then here we go. Right down there, right down. There it goes. Oh, there it goes. Shake it all around. And that's all there is to it. Just gotta rinse it out a little bit after. All right, then kind of put a little water in, rinse it. Now you gotta shake it up. Make sure everything's tight though when you shake. That's all there is to it. Then you empty that out. You're good to go. Hey babe.
Yeah.
You ready to film this video?
Oh, yeah, I'm just getting the cassette toilet ready for action. Woo. Well, at least that's your job. Yeah, you make it look so easy, my dear, and that's why that's all on you.
Thanks, babe.
Well, we also get, one of the major questions we get asked too is, where the heck can you dump this thing?
Right. And that's actually something we love about it. It's really the flexibility of the cassette toilet, right?
Yes.
And you can actually, I mean, we're in an RV park today, so you can actually dump it just down, right, the normal kind of waste receptacles they have at the RV parks, but you can go into the toilet, and if you're on the road, rest areas, right?
Porta potties.
Porta potties, right? Really just many different spots along the way. But certainly be careful when you go into those places. You don't want to make a mess, right? You want to be very careful, make sure you follow the instructions and do it carefully.
Right, that's probably the main thing, is follow the instructions. So
Yeah.
1, you don't make a mess in the area, and 2, you don't make a mess of yourself.
Yes, very good.
That is definitely a positive, especially for, you know, someone like us, where we really enjoy sort of that combination of parks and boondocking, you know, being able to go off grid a little bit more. So having that flexibility allows us not have to go and find, you know, a place to constantly have to dump it, like a dump station. But on the other hand, it is pretty small, and including the one we have.
No, exactly. It's pretty small. You can see the size. It's just about 5 gallons. And that only lasts us maybe 3 days of normal usage, right? Yeah. So you got to stay on top of it.
You do. We'd like to drink our fluids, especially when you're out in sort of the desert.
Yeah, drink your fluids for sure.
Drink your fluids.
Yes.
But you got to put them somewhere. And unfortunately, it goes into the cassette toilet.
And so we try to be very careful, right? We gotta keep we gotta keep on track of where we are in terms of the cassette.
Yeah.
And last thing we want is in the middle of the night to have that cassette red light go off saying, "Oh, sorry, it's filled up." Because first of all, you don't like pulling it out when it's at full capacity, right? let alone potentially for spilling it a little bit more, things like that, but just a little
That
heavy
would
too.
not be pretty.
Yeah, and plus it's a bit heavy too, so.
Disgusting.
Mission accomplished.
Now, one of the things we found, you know, when fully trying to understand and the joy of using the cassette toilet is building habits around the cassette toilet, the use and functionality. Where, for instance, we do not do number 2. I know this sounds graphic, but we don't do a number 2 in our cassette toilet. And so I'm sure they're probably saying, well, where the heck do you go then? What do you do? Well, we actually have a pop-up tent, a foldable pop-up tent that has a foldable toilet and eco-friendly bags that we use, and yes, that's the way we do it.
Yeah, exactly. And if we're in the forest, we certainly make use of the forest, both for 1 and 2, to extend the life
Mother
of
Nature!
the cassette toilet. Now, one thing we should say here, to be brutally honest, when we first picked up our Winnebago, we actually drove it from Iowa to Las Vegas. Our first cassette toilet, the receptacle, actually broke. The latch system just stopped working, and that was a shock. We did not expect that because we had heard that these are actually quite reliable.
Yeah.
Right? But fortunately,
we had a spare, a square to spare. No,
Yeah.
we had a spare, and that's what saved us from really having some problems on that long trek back to Las Vegas. So yes, I think that's one of the downsides to having a cassette toilet is you're constantly in use of the
Right.
latch, and which may bring it to more susceptibility of breaking. So having that additional or that spare does come in handy for
Right.
situations like that.
Exactly. So, because you don't want a broken black tank, and it's basically your black tank, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that needs to work. So we actually always carry a spare now.
All right, so I think it's a good point for us to show you exactly how this cassette toilet works. So let's go take a look. Very simple. There's a little latch on the side that you flip, and I'll show you that in just a second after you do your business. Basically, I will put some water in like that, pumps it, circulates it there. There it is. Yay! I close that, and I take the latch and flip it like so, and close it back up. Voila, like magic, it's gone. And I put the lid down so that you don't have splashing. Now, one of the best things to do is to keep it down all the time so there's no air that tends to build up in that, because if you open it up with that top open, you might get something in your eye you're not going to be happy about. So close, flush, success.
You know, before we go to the last tip on the cassette toilet, we should tell them something.
Oh,
Right?
I know what you're about to
And
say.
we have some big news coming up. We are going full-time RV living with our 2 kitties.
Yay.
And we're gonna kick it off with just a massive trip across the country. We're gonna film it all. So if you have not subscribed yet, please do so.
Yes, and please make sure you also subscribe to our newsletter, TurnItUpWorld.com/newsletter. We're going to be releasing those weekly, making announcements. We may be in an area or city near you. And if you know a really cool spot that we should check out in your area, maybe put it in the comment section below, because it's going to be quite the journey, and
Right.
I'm looking forward to getting all up in it.
Now, are you
All up in
nervous?
it.
Are you a little nervous?
Oh, a little nervous.
We're a little nervous,
I'm
guys.
very nervous.
It's like rookies on the road.
Hey,
full-time,
baby.
Full-time
Rookies
RV
on the
living.
road.
Rookies on- Here we go.
Now that we got all that good stuff out of the way, last but certainly not least, one thing we do not do, and a lot of folks, it's kind of a mixed feeling about this, we don't put toilet paper down our cassette. We actually just properly put that in the garbage can or the waste.
Right, exactly, and that works for us. I mean, it's like no number 2, no toilet paper. We just kind of keep it simple, and that's just how we roll.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken to others that are comfortable doing everything up in that piece, but not us.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And again, it comes down to habits, making good habits, good decisions, and 100% reading the manual to understand how
Right.
the cassette toilet works. So we're still learning the cassette toilet.
Yes.
You know, it's something that you're always going to learn to love and or hate.
Exactly.
So, but at the moment, we love it.
Yeah, exactly. And don't be afraid of it. You know, I know a lot of folks say, hey, I'm not going to get that EKKO because of the cassette.
Yeah.
You know, it may work for you. You know, definitely
Absolutely.
think of the pros and cons.
It did for us, and it just might for you.